Okay, good evening, Whalecoin Talk community. Tonight we have an AMA with BitcoinVend. Joe Jewson's here, the co-founder, to talk about that. So I suppose we could start, if you can give us a bit of the history with BitcoinVend. I know it goes back a long way, and you've launched over 6 months ago on the ETH scam, should I say, the ETH blockchain. And yeah, so if you could tell us a bit about the background and the team, that'd be great.
Will do. Thank you, Glenn, and hi everyone. Thanks for having us. So yeah, just to repeat, my name's Joe. I'm one of the co-founders of BitcoinVend. There's two other founders, president and main founder Chris Cousins and Florin Novak, who joined about the same kind of time as me on Chris's vision to turn it into a reality. So basically, myself and Chris, Florin not quite as much, but myself and Chris have been involved in crypto for a long time. We wanted to create a solution which would enable us to spend our crypto without converting to fiat currency. Obviously, the success of Silk Road was one of the, success in terms of using crypto was one of the, driving points behind that. So we understood that in order to bring crypto into the mainstream, you need practical use case. The money system works as it does because you have payment solutions, you have exchange solutions, but you also have marketplace solutions. What I mean by that is like an everyday market that you can walk down to and buy your vegetables, but also online markets where you can pay with credit cards and basically exchange real world goods and services, which is, as Elon Musk would say, I won't make any comments about Elon Musk, but as Elon Musk would say, goods and services are the real economy. Money is just the medium of exchange. So we looked at various different solutions. This was early part of last year, and we started building what was at the time basically a Craigslist style marketplace with Bitcoin tied in as a form of payment. That's evolved a lot since then, and we've been on a bit of a journey. So we launched our token BCVT on the Trust Swap platform in March this year. And we had a minimum viable product actually ready at that stage, which was the Craigslist style marketplace. For various reasons, mainly to do with scalability and future proofing, we were using Coinbase wallet at the time, the institutional wallet, and we decided that that solution was not future proof and was not scalable and had various risks around it, which we weren't happy with it. Not security, but basically the support that we needed as a company. So we started looking into alternative backend and wallet solutions, and eventually stumbled upon, through Logic, the Fireblocks platform. Fireblocks is probably the leading infrastructure wallet providing company technology in the space. So we're licensing technology from them. And Fireblocks are used by about 400 or 500 leading institutions, including Revolut, Celsius, eToro, and leading algo trading firms such as GSR, and lots of other companies which you guys would have heard of, Prime Trust, Brokerage, etc., etc. So we decided to integrate the Fireblocks technology. That was, I like to be honest and transparent, because our token performance has not been great over the last 6 months. I think we've kind of hit our floor recently, and just starting to scrape up off the floor. So a lot of the community at that stage, I think, quite a lot of people, being the other type of trust swap projects that you get, a lot of people were looking for that, overnight moonshot. And didn't get that. So when we decided to change our back-end infrastructure, as you can imagine, if anyone here on the call is a developer, that has quite vast implications. So we basically had to scrap parts of the app and redesign a lot of the back-end in order to integrate into Fireblocks, which we have now successfully done and released our beta product with active deposits and withdrawals, and are in the process of activating other features. So basically the intention of the application is to enable exchanging, trading, payments from one user to another, and buying and selling goods in a real world marketplace, either peer-to-peer, user to user, however you want to talk about it, whether that's an established business or an individual trying to sell a secondhand laptop. Basically enabling people to do commerce within the application without having to convert to fiat. And inside of that, what we're trying to do and will successfully do is eliminate fees internally and also offer everything at 0 fee and 0 commission. That's where BCVT comes in. BCVT will become the membership token, which will eliminate any additional fees which are associated with different services in the app. But where we do on-chain transactions, for example, we charge no commission. And thanks to fantastic technology like Fireblocks, they have their own mining pool for Ethereum, and they're cutting Ethereum gas down from sometimes up to 90% and speeding up confirmation times, etc., etc. So we're building a pretty powerful product, and we're getting close to having a fully working live product and starting to ramp into some marketing activities. Now we're a bit closer to having something tangible. We're not a hype company. We don't want to start shilling something which doesn't exist or trying to sell a token which has no use case. We want to give it tangible use case before we really ramp hard into our marketing activities. So that's where we're at the moment.
Awesome. So you've got the app in beta. What's been created inside the app up to now? And I see you've got a gold membership promotion at the moment. How long will that be running for members to join?
Okay, so at the moment, the main, the primary utility right now of the token is for staking, because the other features which it will work with are not entirely active right now. So with staking, 20% APY can be earned. That's a limited time offer. We will adjust it some point in the future. Maybe our staking contract, we can adjust certain things. For example, we can change the APY and we can put like a minimum lock period, etc. There's no minimum lock period, and there's 20% APY at the moment. We will try and keep that going. So that's the primary use case of the token right now. Moving forward, as soon as the application becomes fully live, the token, either staking it in the staking contract or locking it inside of the application, will eliminate any fees which are associated with marketplace transactions, non-contact user-to-user payment, i.e. if someone's not in your contact base, i.e. you're processing a payment with a shop down the road who's using the application, the shop will be paying a fee, but won't pay that fee if they have BCVT staked or locked. And it will also be used for the sponsorship of listings within the marketplace and various rewards and incentivization programs. So at the moment, the app in beta is working with deposit and withdrawals, and we're working hard on getting the full exchange functionality working at the moment, which is quite a big task, but we're getting there.
Yeah. So yeah, if we could just go over the basics of the tokenomics. So you get reflections and you can stake in BitcoinVend.
Mm-hmm. So basic tokenomics, 100 million coins totally created, 60 million of which are locked and vesting. Anyone can check out the vesting wallet. If they go on Etherscan, they'll see there's about 61 million tokens in that wallet. For full transparency, it also says it on the website, but I'll give a little bit more context. 20 million of those tokens are reserved for the team. All of the team are under contract that none of those tokens are released to their private wallets. They can only be sold via market makers in a sustained fashion at key approved points. We won't be dumping onto the market. So that's 20 million tokens. The other 40 million tokens are for foundation and for the future development of the project. We have not touched those tokens to date, and we will not touch them. And before we do, there will be announcements. We like to make sure that everyone knows what wallets are holding what and exactly how it works. We have 5 million tokens currently on Uniswap, on Uniswap V2 in the pool. And about another 5 to 6 million tokens are held by market makers across a variety of centralized exchanges. And there's 6 million tokens locked in the staking contract. So of that 100 million, circulating supply is between 33 and 35 million at the moment. And it's an ERC20 token.
All right, awesome. And yeah, so if you could tell us a bit more about the app that you've got in beta and the security of it compared to Trust Wallet and MetaMask, and how how the features are similar or dissimilar to that type of product?
Okay, so first and foremost, we're offering institutional grade technology to the retail user using, as I mentioned earlier, the same technology used by Celsius, Revolut, Prime Trust, eToro, etc. Basically, to cut a long story short, it's very robust battle-tested technology, and everything is insured also against wallet-level hacks. So that's not provided by us, that's provided by Fireblocks. We license the technology from them. So it's incredibly robust wallet solution, back-end technology. It's both, it's wallets and back-end technology. So that solution, Fireblocks has all sorts of advantages to it. So maybe to compare the exchange to like another type of wallet, to compare our exchange and our solution to another type of wallet, you can imagine like having a wallet on Kraken, but you can send instantly to another user because we have a ledger system built in which records what's in Fireblocks and what's happening on the application. So instead of sending to a long address and paying network fees, you could send directly to another user instantly without any fees. So that's one benefit. The wallet is supporting 19 different chains and to date about 470 different tokens. So it's very much so a multi-wallet. We will offer support for the top couple of hundred tokens from the get-go and ramp up as we move forward. Exchanging in the application is going to be very interesting, and that's our next feature to activate. So we are tied into Wintermute and GSR. GSR Markets is the largest market maker in the entire crypto space. They make the markets for Ripple and about 40 other top 100 coins. And Wintermute is coming up behind them very, very quickly. So Wintermute and GSR together provide us with our exchanging liquidity. What that means is that we're able to offer institutional-based pricing to every user in the application. We will charge no fees on exchanging, and people, it will be like an OTC style brokerage, but execute very quickly. So basically, the benefit to the user of our exchange features in the app is that they can trade without fees at best price execution. So for example, as it becomes active, you might look to make a trade in the application and notice that it's a few points beneath what you might find on Binance or Kraken. And the reason why we can do that is because the market makers we're directly connected to the market makers, and the market makers can scour the market using their algorithms and find the best price at any given time, and we pass that straight on to the user. So that's the benefit of the exchange, and there'll be support for lots of different tokens and lots of different pairs, pretty much whatever the market makers can support, which between them, I think it's 150 or 200 coins to date, and we'll keep going from there. As well as those features, really good security, instant payments without fee to other users, and no fee trading at best price execution. We have a marketplace, which will be somewhat experimental for the time being. It's very difficult to build an Amazon or eBay. Maybe we'll get to a mini Amazon or eBay one day. But basically, let's say that you have a secondhand laptop for sale and you want to sell it for crypto. You can list that in the application as you would on Facebook Marketplace, for example, and accept USDT. Everything will be held in escrow. You engage with your counterparty, take care of the deal, and then when both users click go, funds are released to the beneficiary. So it enables people to either sell an item which they don't need and earn crypto without having to put capital down, which is a nice solution, or alternatively start some kind of small business. Maybe someone's selling handmade goods or wants to kind of get into the business market and has products or services to offer. They will be able to offer them in the application for other users to purchase from them using USDT. And obviously, if you had, say, for example, Binance coin and you wanted to purchase with Binance coin, you could actually buy with Binance coin in the marketplace. But what would happen for the time being, maybe it will be different in the future, is that BNB would be converted to USDT and at no fees, and then the vendor would receive the USDT. the USDT received by the vendor, they could then do what they want with it in the application. And that's it in a nutshell. We have an application in for an Estonian exchange license, so we will become a regulated product in the future, and that will enable fiat on and off. So together, those three services, we're creating like a mini all-encompassing ecosystem, which is crypto only in the application. Fiat on and off, obviously, but crypto only in the app.
Yeah,
so that's BitcoinVend in a nutshell.
The expansion, yeah, from, like you say, where you could use crypto to buy anything, like say you could do on eBay. Yeah, the expansion there could be awesome. And
yeah, and I mean, it's because it's very easy as well, Glenn. What we're really taking a lot of care over the ease, i.e., we're not using any technical terms. One QR code. Let's run through a little user story. So one QR code. Let's say you're a merchant. You decide and you run a corner shop. You decide, hey, people have been asking me about crypto, and I know about crypto. I'd like to be able to accept crypto. Your solutions for that at the moment is like go to coin payments or go to a different type of payment processing provider, pay quite a big fee and have to go through various technical setup and integrations. With our application, it'd be really simple. Download the app, set up an account, single QR code works as an account identifier. And if your buyer coming into the shop has the BitcoinVend app, then it'll be scan a QR code and pay with whatever token you want with instant settlement and then conversion back to USDT with no fees. So it provides a very simple, straightforward, intuitive, user-friendly way to be able to accept crypto payments in a store. And that's kind of the idea behind the whole application, is that we make it very easy and intuitive to use. A lot of people are used to products like Revolut, which is, transforming banking. We're going to try and do the same thing for crypto.
Yeah, I mean, I imagine as that expands, there could be, a counter offer from huge companies like PayPal or eBay, that could buy you out in the future if, that expands so huge. Where if they had needed to get involved with crypto in the future as well, like.
Yeah, and it's about the right kind of markets. I mean, like if you think about what's happening in South America at the moment, in certain countries there, and the devaluation of their local currency. El Salvador is a great example. Making crypto legal tender, and they're using the Lightning Network, and this is all fantastic and great, and I encourage that. At the same time, you need a marketplace to be able to transact, because that is the value, and how people earn money is through products and services. So if we can tap into those markets, we do have connections there. We will be focusing our marketing there in the future. Obviously focus on Europe where we are first, because it makes sense. But if we can tap into those markets, we can potentially create like little micro economies of, hopefully hundreds and hundreds of thousands of people using the application on a daily basis to carry out their business and finances. So yeah, it could be potentially a very strong opportunity.
Yeah,
and I think low cost and ease of use is the main attractiveness about it.
That ties into the peer-to-peer as well, that people can transfer into fiat currencies worldwide inside the app in the future as well.
Yeah, well, with our Estonian exchange license, we'll be able to we can actually deal with fiat on and off in pretty much every country except for America, and certain obviously restricted by European Commission countries. We can't obviously deal with those ones. We'll focus on Europe initially, because Kraken use, can't remember the name of the bank that Kraken use. We'll use the same bank as Kraken, and to roll out and to be able to support international transfers from all over the world, that's a step-by-step process. But we're looking forward to the future as well. We have a shelf company in Wyoming in the States as well, so that we could take that through a banking application in the States at some time. But I mean, you're talking about tens of millions to go through that process. But in the meantime, we'll support fiat on and off in Europe. And once we get to the stage where we have enough demand in America, for example, we could use a third party, and we have lots of options for that. So yeah, there is potential to be able to do fiat on and off in all sorts of different areas, including America.
So yeah, so the Estonian exchange, will that be built on the desktop as well as mobile, or?
So at the moment, we're just building in mobile. We build in Flutter. Flutter is a Google framework which is cross-platform. So we're building for iOS and Android at the same time. We can also support browser on that, but right now we are just building log in through the browser. But right now we're just building for mobile and tablet. We will, as soon as we are finished with our MVPs for the mobile application, we will move towards converting all that to browser. Obviously, like the main difference is the infrastructure is there, but the user interface needs to change. So we will then have to build an interface which displays nicely on a bigger screen. But it's totally possible, and we have all the coding framework there.
And so inside the app at the moment, you can get 20% APY, and there's no unstaking period, which can be quite annoying, where you've got 90, 180 days to release your funds, or if you need to free up capital, like.
Yeah, so it's not in app at the moment, Glenn, just to clarify. So the staking solution is a staking contract which is hosted on the ETH chain. So the staking contract has been audited by a third party. That audit's available on our website, and it connects through MetaMask. So you can use MetaMask, give MetaMask permission to connect to the BitcoinVend site, and you can find the staking interface there and get 20% APY, which accrues minute by minute. So we're running a sweepstake at the moment. So when we hit 10 million tokens staked, we're going to give away 25K to someone who will select with a random number generator. So each 1,000 BCVT gets people one entry, and we ramped up from a couple of million tokens staked to over 6 just in the last 10 or 15 days since we announced that. Obviously, everyone likes a competition, so we're just building up towards that. We'll get to 10 million. We'll give away some money, and we'll come up with other incentives if the full product isn't released yet, where we can keep staking more up coins and tying up liquidity, because obviously drying up liquidity in the market helps the price when other people come in and buy. So yeah, just to clarify, the staking opportunity is an on-chain Ethereum smart contract working through MetaMask. It's not yet active in the application.
Okay. Yeah, so with the security, that's built through the Fireblock technology. Could you tell us a bit about that?
Yeah, so Fireblocks technology. So Fireblocks works as, let's think of it as wallet infrastructure and an aggregator. So I'll talk about the wallet infrastructure first of all. Fireblocks tech is all proprietary, and it's MPC, multi-party computation. So what they do is they, when you download the app and create a wallet, there's an offline server which creates the wallet, and then it shards the private key into 3 pieces. Those 3 pieces are distributed to independent servers, and each server signs the transaction like 1, 2, 3 with a third of the private key. So what that means from a security perspective is that the private key never meets on an online device. Once it's actually created, it never comes together again. So that 1, 2, 3 signing process means that even if a hacker was to breach that one server, they'd only get 1/3 of the private key. So it's a pretty much impenetrable system. And they ensure that technology provided by them, not from us. And we license this technology from Fireblocks. It's quite costly to do, and not many startups do it, but we wanted to, we don't want to cut any costs when it comes to the security. I think it's unacceptable for an exchange in this day and age to be hacked or lose customer funds. So we didn't want to cut any corners there. So as well as wallet architecture, what Fireblocks enables us to do is connect to about 160 different product and service providers who are institutions within the space. So for example, our market making providers are our market makers who are providing liquidity for the trading solution in the app. They're connected to Fireblocks as well. So we can move funds between the market maker as we're settling trades using Fireblocks with reduced fees and reduced confirmation time. So that's one of the advantages of Fireblocks. Again, Celsius, for example, is tied into Fireblocks. So we'll be able to offer what Celsius offer through their platform inside of the application for a slightly reduced revenue share, like interest rate. And we can do that directly from Fireblocks without having to send tokens around on chain and wait for lengthy confirmations, or for someone have to go through the whole Celsius KYC process. Once they KYC with us in the app, we have the option to start by default giving out the kind of interest rates that Celsius offer, minus a little bit, because it's us going to them as an institution and then offering that to our clients. So it's slightly less beneficial for the client, but you have the advantage of not having to set up with Celsius and still have access to your funds, don't have to tie them up. So there's many advantages to Fireblocks. It enables us to scale very easily, as well as connect to all those product and service providers, and fantastic security. So there's no concerns there.
Awesome. I see you're going to build in a blocking withdrawals above a certain threshold on the app. How will that work?
We're just doing that for now whilst we're in beta again. So what we hope to do is we want to give as much power and control to the user as possible. So we're looking at basically so there's various protocols which we can build into the back end of Fireblocks. At the moment, we have it limited so that a withdrawal can only be a certain amount, but we're not encouraging people to deposit funds in the app right now. It's just in a better state for people to check out, have a look at, give us any feedback. There's all sorts of feedback forms inside of the main menu inside the application, where people can let us know what they think and take part in creating what will be in the final release. But the limits are just temporary at the moment. Basically, how the Estonian exchange and regulatory framework works is that anyone can withdraw up to 15,000 euros, I think it is, without it needing to be manually checked. So what we're going to do, hopefully, is we're going to allow people to set their own limits. So they'll be able to say, well, I only want to be able to withdraw 500 at a time, and they can program that in themselves simply within the app, or maybe say they want to withdraw 10,000 at a time without it being manually checked. And hopefully the developers are just looking at it at the moment, but hopefully that's going to be fine. So we have like an API which provisions those settings across to our backend in Fireblocks, and we can automate many of these processes. So our intention really is to give maximum flexibility to the user, i.e. yourself, Glenn, you might be confident and happy with the transactions that you make, and more of an experienced user, and you might say, well, I want the maximum limit on my withdrawal. Someone else might be a bit concerned about the security of their device, etc., not have their protocols so set, and they'll maybe choose to set a smaller limit for themselves. Yeah, fingers crossed we're going to be able to offer that, because I think it's quite a unique feature.
Got you, yeah. So if investors buy the BitcoinVend, how does the staking work on the token?
So it's a simple process of have the tokens in MetaMask. Obviously, like the contract address would need to be added for them to show up. And then on the staking page on our website, there's instructions on the website, but it's a straightforward process. Have the tokens in MetaMask, connect to the interface. You have to give permission for the BitcoinVend site to be able to spend those tokens. And then you go through the transaction fees, which sometimes MetaMask is being a bit faulty at the moment, and so showing people crazy transactions. It's nothing to do with our contract and 100% MetaMask. So it just needs a quick refresh or a log in and log out on the MetaMask, and then stake up the tokens. And you can log into the interface anytime you want and see the rewards building up, 20% APY at the moment, and withdraw the rewards anytime that they want. But right now is a really great opportunity to just lock up the tokens and keep them in the staking contract, because the rewards are there, and until the app becomes fully live, they don't have that utility. So like the bullish case for BCVT is when the utility comes fully active. Until that point, making interest is a no-brainer.
Yeah, definitely. So with the BitcoinVend token, how around 6% is already staked then at the moment, and you're looking for 10 million tokens, so that'd be 10%.
Yeah, so at 10%, yeah, 6,040,000 I think is staked right now. So at 10 million, within a couple of days of us hitting 10 million, we'll do a live draw. and give away 25k to the winner, which will be random number generator. 1000 BCVT is one entry, so 100,000 BCVT would be 100 entries. We'll do that live for the sake of transparency, and we'll give away 25k. Following that, we'll probably do some other incentivization scheme and basically keep ramping up the amount of tokens which are staked and locked, and dry up liquidity. So we can handle up to, we currently have enough BCVT pooled in the staking contract to handle up to, I think, like 17 million or 16 million tokens staked for a year at 20% APY, and we'll put more tokens into that contract if needs be, because obviously it's beneficial for everyone to lock up liquidity and generate rewards. So we'll figure out the monetary side as best as we can to make sure that we can keep offering 20% APY. Our token was never, we never intended it to be like a primarily staking token, but because we decided to change the app around the back end and we're kind of a bit behind of what we initially said on our release, we thought, hey, and ETH gas is so high, we thought, right, let's increase the staking, offer people a little bit more, give them something, their tokens at the moment, whilst everyone waits for the app to become fully live. So I think that's been appreciated, because we went from 1.6 or 1.8 million tokens staked all the way up to 6 million in the last 10 days or so. So that's nice to see.
Yeah, I think I missed going over how it was launched. It was back in February, so it's been out over 6 months on the ETH blockchain. How it was distributed, the pre-sale, and was some of the team given tokens? How was it launched?
So we did a pre-sale and a public sale with Trust Swap. We sold 26 million tokens and raised I think it was like 2.4 million USDT. And then we distributed shortly after. A lot of the tokens were vesting, and still quite a lot of the tokens are in vesting contracts on Trust Swap. We went on to Uniswap after that, and then we listed on 4 or 5 different centralized exchanges about a month or 2 after. It was an unfortunate time, actually, Glenn. It was, we initially pushed ourselves to market quite quickly in March, because we wanted to avoid the blow off top that the Bitcoin looked like it was going to do. It didn't, and as we know, and Bitcoin pushed a little bit further. And then the blow off top happened right when we were going on to centralized exchanges. So there was a lot of noise about Bitcoin going down, and we struggled to kind of make noise within the noise. So it wasn't the best CEX listing time, but we're aiming towards, at the moment, we're aiming towards Gate and then KuCoin. After that, they're our preferred choices. So we've got to get our wallet holders up a little bit higher, and then we'll go on to Gate. But most of those tokens which were distributed are either, most of the weak hands have sold out. We bought back quite a lot of tokens. We provided lots of liquidity on the Uniswap V2 pair. I think we bought back like 3.5 or 4 million tokens. So yeah, even more reduced supply. And there's a big old pool of tokens on Uniswap V2. So anyone who's willing to pay the gas can acquire there without any kind of liquidity issues. We're on V3 as well. We're on V3 against USDT.
Awesome. So how's the marketing going look forward? Have you got a good marketing budget for the project, and where is that going to be spent?
Yeah, so we're still very well funded, and yeah, we got plenty of budget. We haven't done very much on the marketing to date because we've been very focused on the product. But we are just at the moment, literally, it will probably be done Monday or Tuesday. We're contracting with a quite well-known marketing agency who have worked with in the past. They're a subsidiary of a larger marketing agency, and their crypto marketing agency is like a spin-off. They've been in the crypto market for 4 years, and they've worked with eToro, Shapeshift. Let me see, who else have they worked with? eToro, Shapeshift, Waves, Ultracoin, Vox, Platio, and then other legacy brands like Red Bull and Salesforce. They worked with Sia Coin, etc. Good Guys Dutch company. So we have a variety of activities kicking off with them, some other things which we're covering in-house, and then some and with another subcontractor. So basically what this looks like is, all the standard stuff like social media, Telegram management, newsletter and article and blogging, etc. All is taken care of in-house. Crypto Night will be kicking in there quite soon with crowd marketing campaigns across Twitter and Telegram ads and Telegram crowd marketing. We'll be doing a couple of stints and rounds of PR out into the media in the top venues, third-party reviews, and kind of small, medium influencers. We don't want to pump into the big guys like BitBoy or anything at the moment, because we want our product to be live. At the moment, we're limited on the downloads to 10,000, so we don't want to hit 100,000 people and not be able to take them onto the app. So it wouldn't be well spent funds at that stage. In addition to kind of small and medium influencers, we'll be running Reddit campaigns on some of the top channels like Crypto Moonshots, and potentially some banner advertising as and when we see traction pick up. And then high-level Telegram AMAs. We're working with one of the guys from Satoshi Street Bets, who's coming on board, who's you guys are a different story, but as you can imagine, lots of people will waste money on the wrong types of AMAs in the wrong places and don't get those quality users or engagement that they're looking for. You guys seem really cool, and you're actually the last one that we're going to do that doesn't come on recommendation from the guy from at Satoshi Street Bets who we're going to work with. But there'll be a variety of campaigns like this. Some of the Reddit campaigns, for example, will be using various methods like upvoting, both through organic and let's say non-organic activities, to basically start scaling into the more sophisticated investor, because this is something which is more interesting for a long-term hold than it is for a kind of short-term 10x overnight pump, which a lot of people are looking for. So we're going to be increasing the quality of what we output into the public, and going through all these different channels to kind of ramp up and scale into marketing. We've got a budget of well over 250K for the next kind of 4 to 6 months, and we will put more into it if needed. So yeah, combination of in-house activities, subcontractor agencies, and then let's say shilling kings. The guy from Satoshi Street Bets is funny. He's like the Telegram king, and he just knows everyone. So we're tapping into his network a little bit.
Oh, awesome. Yeah, and with the app, as that progresses, obviously it's word of mouth, which is one of the best marketing. If it's offering unique features to crypto, then people will switch over to that to use it, because it's got so many unique features with like you say, buying and selling things, peer-to-peer, 19 blockchains you're on. So what's the sort of time scale for the app to finish and the Estonian exchange?
So the last bit of paperwork went in for the Estonian license today, actually. So we have everything set up there in terms of offices, KYC officer, resident director. Last bit of the application went in today. That should be a couple of months for it to come through. Pretty sure we won't get rejected, and it's quite a nice streamlined process in Estonia. So a couple of months, I think, for that. In terms of the application, right now is like the most valuable process that we can go through is to get as much feedback as we can from the audience as possible and really refine the product before we push it to the app stores. The app stores are notorious for rejecting crypto apps, and we've got so much going on that we just want to stay in beta. Probably for the rest of the rest of this quarter, will likely stay in beta as we activate more features, and we can take up to 10,000 people on the application. So I suspect, Glenn, is that we'll stay in beta for the duration of this year, and we'll start pushing to the app stores closer to Christmas. And then hopefully that will go through reasonably fast, and we'll be live and can take on much more users, by which point we'll have the Estonian license as well. So yeah, I hope we have a product live on the app stores kind of early next year, and have the full fiat integrations and regulated entities set up as well. So now is a kind of key time to start building the community a little bit and gathering people's feedback, because the more we refine the product at this stage and listen to what potential users have to say, then the bigger boom that we can have out the gates once it goes on the App Store. So that's the approach. Don't rush. You know, we're building a quite complex project, and it's got lots of elements to it. We want to make sure that they're all working really, really well before we go to the App Stores. So that's a kind of
awesome.
vague timeline.
Yeah, and so what size team have you got at the moment, and then how it's going to expand in the future with the launch of the app and the Estonian exchange?
So there's 7 core members at the moment, and we use a variety of subcontractor agencies and parties for niche elements of the model, because we find that subcontractors are generally more reliable than dealing with HR, because you know they want to keep your business. You probably, I don't know if you've been in business much or dealt with HR, Glenn, but it can be a bit of a nightmare. So we're running quite lean on our internal team right now. The main expansion areas that we will see will be on operations. There's quite a lot of monitoring and customer service things which will be needed once the product goes fully live. So that will be the main areas for expansion, will be CS and operations, and like transaction monitoring, etc. Obviously a KYC officer, etc., all that standard stuff. We will maintain using third-party subcontract agencies for most of our marketing activities. We actually, a gentleman called Peter, who's on the website, I've worked with him for the last 3 or 4 years in his marketing agency. That's how I am able to do this role and kind of manage the subcontractors and do a lot of the low-level work myself actually at the moment. And we will continue to use those parties. We have Peter at the moment and his team in the background building a very high-spec website. You know, big budget, like it's cost us close to 200K for that website. It's being built, it's not ready yet. And that's like heavily optimized for search engine optimization and different marketing campaigns. So we will launch that site when it's ready and when the product's fully on the App Store, and ramp into marketing using Peter's agencies to real scale that thing up, and probably work with the agency which we have coming on board at the moment as well in the future when we have that new website up, because to Peter, who's going to be like the architect, and they're going to use their resources to follow his marketing strategies and architecture. So yeah, kind of things will really heat up and ramp up once we do that. And our main scaling will be on operations and customer service. We'll keep the core team quite lean. Obviously, we'll scale into development as well as we need it. Right now, we have Kingsley heads up development and has a variety of subcontractors which he uses for building various modules of the application. And we use third-party software where necessary, but we kind of have a bias to building everything from scratch in-house. So Kingsley heads that up and has various subcontractors underneath him who he's worked with before. And we're working on that model really, Glenn, is keep it lean, spend our money really well, and make sure that we, you know, raise more money before we run out. But we're good for the next like year. So so yeah, great. Step by step, we'll keep scaling, and as we ramp up in activity, we'll ramp up in budgets. So we're in quite a good situation.
Yeah, so I can open it up to the team or the community if anyone's got a question for Joe. There's a lot that when we've covered many things and people don't have any questions.
I like that you have a large budget. You say you can go longer for a year. Does everyone know that in your community? Because I feel like that's an incredibly strong point to push across. You see so many people blow their marketing budget in 3 or 4 days. So that's a very strong point that I picked up.
Yeah, I mean, we, you know what, our strongest community is our private sale investors. Our private sale investors are absolute diamond hands. There was only one of them who sold, and actually, interestingly, like we turned down a lot of money. We were 12.5 times oversubscribed. We ended up raising about 2.4 million, and we were turning down a lot of money from the private sale guys. So they're all aware of what's happening. They're all golden hands, and they're holding quite a lot of tokens between themselves. And actually, interestingly for you guys, all of our large token holders are under contract to not sell on the open market. They all the private sale contracts, which when we took funds from them, we made agreements with them that when they sell, they will give us first refusal and let the foundation purchase tokens from them, or they will sell via market makers, because the market makers can use algorithmic trading to feed into the market and dribble into the market instead of causing some big dump. So yeah, most of our sophisticated investors, so to speak, and people who are really engaged with that know exactly where we are and are holding strong because they see the value of the project. But yeah, most people know that we're pretty well funded.
Yeah, it seems like it. That's great. Thanks for the answer.
Yeah, you're welcome. It's very important to not, you know, a lot of people who are like, let's call them, for lack of a better word, less sophisticated investors. They're like, oh, why are you guys not pumping into marketing at the moment? And it's like, well, we don't have a live product, a fully live product to market, and it can't scale beyond 10,000 users at this stage. And we're in a test phase and activating more features. So like, do you guys want us to like spend our money now? Or do you want us to like really create a boom out the gates once we have the product fully live? So I think most savvy people will understand that it's better to look after that budget, run very lean, and get a real working product out there. You get projects like EOS who haven't got anything after years and years and years, and they've done fantastically well. But there's a lot of projects who have done that and also failed. So yeah, we're looking after our money very well. It's also, despite it may have been a good idea to take some money in Ethan or Bitcoin or whatever, we took everything in USDT because the market was all over the place at the moment, and are protecting our funds in USDT so we don't have any kind of issues from a potential market collapse. And although we don't get the benefit of the upside, it keeps us safe as a company. We got good partners as well, Ledizzle. We have GSR Markets and Wintermute, the other market maker, and various other institutional parties who are keen to invest in us as a company when we get to a demonstratable product which is fully live. We'll raise more funds again to amp up the budget.
Yeah, that makes sense. That makes sense. No, it sounds interesting. Thank you.
Yeah, I thought we had a question from Fresh, but he's disappeared. He had his hand up. Fresh, did you have a question? No? Okay. So yeah, if there's no questions, I can finish the recording. But first of all, I've gotten some feedback now. First of all, yeah, if you want to wrap it up, Joe, and tell us anything we might have missed about the project, and yeah.
Thank you. No, I'd like to be really straight up and say, you know, as I mentioned to you at the beginning of the call, Glenn, before other people joined us, we kind of bombarded our group with airdrop freebie hunters recently, and the traction's died off a little bit in terms of quality engagement. We'll work in a variety of ways to build up the engagement and interaction within our group over the next couple of weeks, especially as we activate with this marketing agency. That's something which they really work on strongly. So I encourage anyone and appreciate anyone who wants to come into our group and have a good chat and you know, read about the project and ask us any questions. It's at this kind of nice stage right now where we've got the time and the space to be pretty engaged and direct with people, and we're not paying another company to manage our group. We're doing it ourselves, so everyone gets to talk to, you know, founders or team members and ask questions directly. So I very much encourage that. And also anyone who is interested in buying the token, it's at a nice low at the moment. I don't think we'll go much lower than this, and we kind of reversed the trend a few weeks ago, had a couple of sell-offs after that, but kind of creeping up again. And obviously we got this staking offer running right now, and running a giveaway when we hit 10 million tokens. So it's well worth jumping in there if that's something interesting. And yeah, we appreciate anyone who wants to support the project, give us feedback on the application, and obviously hold the token for the long run, because we're in this for the long run. We're not here to, you know, pump and dump overnight. We're here to build a really solid product which can help crypto move forward as a whole. So if that's valuable to anyone here, which I'm sure it is, because we're all into crypto for the same kind of reasons, then yeah, any support and engagement is much appreciated. So thank you everyone for your time.
Yeah, that's great. Yeah, there's lots of investors here, yeah, that would be interested, and if they're listening to the recording afterwards, that's great. They can come over to your Telegram or Discord. I can post a link to you at the end of the recording. Yeah, any questions for Joe and the team, head over there. Yeah, it's been great speaking to you. Thank you very much for coming, Joe. It's a very interesting project, and yeah, I'm sure lots of our investors will be buying into BitcoinVend.
Well, thank you very much, Glenn. Good, nice, intelligent conversation. I appreciate it a lot. And yeah, if anyone has any questions, whether they want to ask us directly in our group or in your Whale Coin Talk group, obviously my Telegram's pretty mental, so feel free to tag me in, because then I'll make sure I see it. And yeah, thank you very much, everyone, for your time.
Yeah, and we always support projects that do AMAs here in the future. So if you have any updates on the project, you're welcome to come into the text chat and post that. And if it doesn't post, just send me a DM or a Dizzle, and yeah, we'll send that over to the investors so they can keep up to date. And also, like I say, yeah, they can come into your Telegram and the Discord to ask questions. So that'd be great for them.
Fantastic. Well, thank you very much, Glenn. Pleasure talking to you all, and hope everyone has an enjoyable evening or rest of the day wherever they are in the world.
Yeah, it's been a great AMA. Thank you very much for coming, Joe. Oh, Ape, have you got a question?
I have a question, but I will ask it later.
No, feel free. If you want to ask now, if it's good with Glenn, I'm happy to answer.
My question is, you said before that you had the bad March because of Bitcoin. What about if you kick it now on November, if market crashes?
Yeah, it's an interesting one. I mean, you know, obviously the token performance is really important for also perception of the project. And you know, we've been on a bit of a downtrend, and we reversed that trend, and now we're kind of ticking up a little bit. You know, if there's a real drop off in the market and we start heading down, I imagine that the token will suffer a little bit. But the majority of our wallet holders and people invested into the project, you know, they had an opportunity to sell when it was higher. They didn't. They're holding strong. We got a lot of tokens staked, and you know, hopefully we'll access as many people as we can who really understand the value of what we're trying to bring to the table. Ultimately, with the liquidity in the market being, you know, very low, we don't need to like pump up to 10, 20, 30,000 wallet holders in order to sustain the token performance. So you know, if people buy the token and stake the token, irrespective of if we go down a little bit, it's not difficult with a bit of traction to move it up again. We don't need such big numbers. So you know, it's unavoidable being able to suffer a bit of a battering, because people obviously, you know, panic a little bit sometimes and want to get out of the market. But it's about tapping into the right people, Ape, the right people who see the long-term potential of this and are not, you know, the average trader who's just trading on emotion and getting freaked out when we get a drop. But people who are scaling in and cost dollar averaging is, you know, a good sensible time. We got some pretty savvy guys in our group who who have been laughing, saying, "Hey, I'm really glad you guys are not marketing heavily at the moment, because it enables me to keep cost dollar averaging and just building my bags of BCBT, and I'm here for the long run." So I'm not concerned about it so much, Ape. And if we needs be as well, we'll put some good buy support there. We've been buying tokens back on Uniswap as some other people were selling. We got a nice pool of like still I think 90 Ethereum on Uniswap. So we're very happy if people want to sell into us. No problem, because we end up controlling more of the supply, and it will dry up. And then, you know, when the token moves up nicely, we'll liquidate some coins, obviously, naturally. Any ones that we've bought back, we won't touch the foundation coins or the team coins. They're all locked investing. But as we liquidate coins, we'll do it in a very controlled, sustained manner. I'm a self-taught trader, and Chris, the founder, has worked very closely with top market makers for the last few years, and is a trader by trade. He was working for a family office, like $1 million hedge fund when he was like 23 or 24. So he understands how to look after the market dynamics. So I'm sure we'll be fine.
Hey, thank you very much. You covered me.
You're welcome. But obviously, no financial advice given here, you know. And the market can do anything, and you never know. Someone's decision to sell can be a decision to sell. But I think we've got rid of most of the big. Anyone who's holding a large amount of coins comes from our private sale investors. One small challenge we have at the moment, just to be transparent, I don't know if you guys know what front running is, but we have a front runner on Uniswap V2, and that's partly why the token hasn't moved up so much, because the front runner keeps front running people and then dumping into it. So we're going to try and blast him out with a bit of brute force over the next couple of weeks and see how that goes. But if he disappears, it'll be a whole different dynamic as well. I don't know if you guys are aware of front running, but there's about 100 front running robots in the space. One of them's happened to found our token. He turned like 5 Ethereum into well over $1 million within a month. I'm like, whoa. But they just destroys tokens because they buy just before someone else is about to buy, and they're connected with the mining pool. The miners push their transaction through on the DEX. It pushes the price up. The other person then buys and pushes it up higher, and then they sell into that buy and they make a quick profit. It's quite difficult for the market, but hopefully that guy will disappear soon, or we'll beast him out with some brute force.
Right, yeah, it sounds scary. They're trying, maybe the competitors that have these expensive bots that, affect other projects. But
yeah, that's one of the challenges with DEX, because you don't get really strong like industry leading market makers in there who can like put up a lot of liquidity. And basically, their bots are so intelligent, the top market makers, that anyone tries to manipulate things. GSR Market, who make our markets on HitBTC and Bitcoin.com, their robot is so intelligent that anyone starts trading on there with a robot, then they'll quickly figure out a way to beat them. And they're a net neutral market maker, so they're not wash trading. But you don't get that on decentralized exchanges, so it's very open to manipulation. And unfortunately, you do get these front-running robots, which cause a bit of an issue. But I don't think it will last too much longer. We can see he's selling sometimes and doing his business, but I think we'll blast him out soon.
I think they've been doing it for years in the stock exchange, with algorithms and everything, front-running, and it's come over to crypto, unfortunately. But something we can deal with.
There's only I didn't know till the other day, Glenn, but we noticed it was happening. We've been looking at the guy's wallet, and we spoke to GSR about it, and they're like, "Wow, that's really unlucky, because there's only about 100 front-running robots which are actually working like that, and you have to know a mining pool to be able to get your transaction through sooner." So it's unfortunate, but I don't think it will impact us for that much longer.
It could be a big company then, like one of the big exchanges that's worrying. So they're messing with your.
No, I don't think so. We've been flying under the radar a little bit, and I think we'll keep it that way for now. I mean, like our probably nearest competitor, like once we have a live product, our nearest competitor in terms of like similarity is probably Crypto.com. I got a friend who works for Crypto.com in the institutional sales area, and he was asking me for liquidity provider connections the other day because they want to increase their depth, and I was like, sorry Vincent, I'm like, you're working for our competitor, I'm not telling you anything. But our nearest competitor is probably those guys, but I don't think anyone's going to be paying attention to us right now. I mean, we're a small cap project without a live product yet, so maybe in 6 months time it'll be a different story and we might get attacked, but let's see how it goes. Fingers crossed we don't.
Yeah, awesome. Right, so I'll finish the recording. I'll send you a copy over, Joe. It's been great speaking to you. Amazing AMA and project. Looking forward to the updates as they come in. And expanding in future.
Well, thank you, Glenn. And nice talking to you likewise. And all the best, everyone. I'll be around, and feel free to ping questions in our group or the Whale Coin one, and I'll I'll check in when I can.